my Area 51 line. You're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons.
Hey.
Hey,
Here
everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Freaking Thursday.
Freaking Thursday. One more day.
Can't forget that freaking.
Yep, just one more day.
One more day. Yep.
God.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been kind of sick this week. However, I'm not sick anymore. I tested myself and I'm not today.
Yay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you have to do that for work?
Huh?
You have to do that for work? Do they make you do things like that for work?
No, I tested myself because I tested myself today. I went to the doctor the other day for it. Yeah. And people are all out at my work and yeah. So anyway, it's all good now. We're good now. So happy freaking Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Oh, hey, love the background, Brian.
Well, I'm on Blondes and Booze, so I might as well advertise. So
Okay. Well,
There you go.
We appreciate that.
there you go.
So I'm not going to lie to you guys tonight. I was not going to be on this show tonight because my kid is playing at homecoming, and long story, they were only doing the pregame and her pregame wasn't all that. So here I am.
Right. I mean, but you know, the subject that we have chosen is cursed, haunted movie sets, or you know, things like that. Thank you for your mind.
Thank you
Awesome.
for your mind. Appreciate
Welcome
it.
to the Booze Club. Welcome.
Yeah.
And you know, and we were talking about last night. We were talking about poltergeist activity. So this is kind of a good segue into kind of like this and things that can happen on a movie set. And you know, it's kind of weird. I mean, when you bring up all the scary stuff they're talking about in the movie anyway, you're like, this can't be true. This is stupid.
Right.
This can't be true. And then, yeah, behind
You're
the scenes is where it's really crazy.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like I told Brian backstage before you hopped on, Brandy, I'm glad I have my day job and that I never became an actress.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, because some of these, you know, I mean, some of them we've known about, they've talked about. Some of these, though, I'm kind of surprised about. Brian had some too he'd talked about. I'd never heard about some of those. So anyway, let's just hop right into it, I guess.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and start with the first one you picked, Krista. I mean, they're all good, but what's your first pick?
My first pick that is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
Let's do Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, because that was just a freaky movie anyway.
It is a freaky movie anyway.
Yeah, that was freaky.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, please, dear Lord, don't let me have a baby like that. Thank you.
Hell no. Hell no.
Please, thank you. Amen.
Right? Well, you know, Roman Polanski, he was the director of Rosemary's Baby, and we all know who he was married to, which was Sharon Tate.
Right.
And we all know what happened to Sharon Tate, you know, from the Mansons.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that they're saying that's, you know, possible curse, which that's creepy.
Well, it was not just Sharon Tate that was murdered. It was Sharon Tate and her unborn child.
Unborn child. Absolutely. Yeah. And several others were in the house. And then another thing that the film's composer, his name is Kameda. He died after falling into a coma from a mysterious fall, a death eerily similar to the character's fate in the film. He reportedly only woke from his coma once while Rosemary's Lullaby was played to him.
Wow.
Tell me that's
No.
That's great.
Tell me that's not creepy. And
That
another,
is,
Yeah. Isn't that messed up, man?
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. So here's more. There's more to it. So John Lennon was murdered outside the Dakota building where the exterior shots of the Bramford were filmed. This connection, combined with the building's prior reputation for being haunted, further cemented the film's cursed reputation.
And that building is very haunted.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very haunted. I know some people that have been in it, and they don't like going to that building. There's a lot of famous people that live there, but a lot of weird things.
People live there?
Yeah, it's multiple people, multiple apartments.
Okay.
But there's a lot of weird things have happened there. A lot of crimes in the courtyard, and just strange going-ons in each apartment.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
I think that building was also used in part as where Gozer, the Gozerian, was living in Ghostbusters, if I'm correct. Some of that building was used.
Yeah,
so,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
That's interesting.
I used to pass it all the time.
It makes you wonder that if people thought this out and kind of like it just kind of already incorporated into their murder spree. I don't know what to really call it, but I mean, if you take that Roman was married to the Tate lady, okay, right? So
Sharon,
right. So if Charlie Manson was going after Roman, but decided to go after his wife instead, thinking that she was actually the one having the devil baby. That's the only thing I can say about that. The devil baby. Maybe he was trying to eliminate that, maybe, or I don't know. And then for John Lennon to be assassinated in front of that building, I don't know. It just kind of brings it all together into like one thing. Like they put deep thought into this, because we know that they planned all these things out. Yeah. So I'm just wondering if any of that movie had to do with any of the other parts that had happened. I don't know if I explained myself correctly, but
so using that as symbolism for what was being done in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's another connection, which is, and this will probably blow your mind. Remember the Son of Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
44 Caliber Killer. I remember that summer, nervous. There's a sister building to my building. This is right down the hill in front of us. And one of our friends' mothers were running in. You can go up these stairs to get to the lobby or go through the side of the basement. She goes to the basement. She's carrying packages and she sees the door of the elevator closed. She goes, "Please, wait, stop." And comes out, holds the elevator door. She gets in the elevator with the super, another guy who he's showing them a new apartment. That guy was David Berkowitz.
Yeah.
The Son of Sam. Yeah.
No freaking way.
No freaking way. So the Son of Sam was moving into my neighborhood. Where he did and was part of all this stuff is really, it's right next to us in a city called Yonkers. And the same cult, the satanic cult that Sam was in, has a direct connection to the Manson family cult.
Interesting. Well, this is interesting. I didn't know about this. Look at this. Edith says Anton LaVey played the devil in Rosemary's Baby. I didn't know that.
Yes. Look at Anton LaVey's daughter and then compare her to Taylor Swift.
I've heard that.
I mean, his wife and compare. If you picked up a photo of Anton LaVey's wife and then you put Taylor Swift right there, same person.
Oh, wow.
And she's rumored to be doing some witchcraft and ritual during her performances as well.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I'm just telling you what,
I had no idea.
I'm saying it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So, Brian, you had some to talk about. You pull one up next.
Yeah, I think, well, let's go with, kind of The Exorcist. That movie was plagued by things would levitate on set
Mhm.
things would work and then just go out and stop. There was a massive fire that destroyed a lot of the set.
Yes.
And
Remind me next time you are here and come
Yeah.
through St. Louis, I will take you by and show you where the actual Exorcist took place from the movie.
oh, you know what? You know who the father is that really did The Exorcist?
Yeah.
You know his name?
Yes, but not off the tip of my tongue.
Oh, you
Yes,
should.
Brandy, come on, help me.
I'm thinking.
Oh, thank you,
I
Alan.
can see his face. I can see his flipping face. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I'm talking about not from the movie, but the real
Yeah, no,
The
the
real
real
one.
one.
Yes,
The real
yes,
one.
yes.
Father Bowdern.
There it is.
Father Bowden. Yes,
Yeah. Yep.
same spelling.
I had to
Which
think
I
about
found
it.
out later. I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But a lot of people had mysterious illnesses and injuries on the set. A lot of people passed away associated with that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something to be a theme in a lot of these movies, that they work on these movies and within a certain time period, and sometimes really quick, people are dying from, mysterious circumstances, falls. So that was pretty interesting. I was
Yes.
just trying to go in order to get like some of the older crowd and
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot to The Exorcist. It says that 9 people died during the production.
Yep.
And including the assistants, cameraman's newborn baby, and night watchman. How sad is that?
I mean, it was are we, look at the subject matter we're talking about.
Right. That was my next question. What do you guys think about that? Like, okay, so we just talked about Rosemary's Baby. What's that movie about? We're talking about The Exorcist now. What's that movie about? What's the common,
theme? Yeah, it's basically the common theme.
Right. The devil.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
the birth of the Antichrist, or so on and so forth. And this is why they tell you, like, there's certain cultures, they will not say the word Wendigo. They won't talk about skinwalker.
Skinwalker. A lot of them won't say that either.
Because you give energy to something,
Oh yeah.
So, a lot of people in Hollywood think, oh, it's just a movie, relax, calm down. But there are too many, there's no such thing as coincidences.
Nope.
I learned that a long time ago. So,
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. If you think about the story itself, and then you realize everything that's happening around you, you've got to understand that you are basically breathing life into the story itself.
Well, listen to this. This is interesting too. So I've got information up here on The Exorcist. This is creepy. It says others on the set suffered lifelong injuries. A crew member lost his toe while a carpenter chopped off his thumb. Linda Blair, shared that she fractured her lower back while convulsing in a harness, leading to a lifelong struggle with scoliosis. In the documentary Fear of God, Blair remembered screaming, "Please make it stop. It hurts. It burns." That's kind of and they use that footage in the movie where she really is crying her eyes out because she was really, really in pain. She was really, really hurting.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
this is why I don't do that stuff. I'm not, I don't have, maybe I do, but I just choose not to on that end of what we do. We have other people. Get Tony on the line.
That just makes the whole movie worse now, because every time that I'm going to think about that, when that happens during the movie, then I'm going to be like, that's for real crap happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's for real. And oh my God.
The cool thing about them, of my own personal experience, I wanted to see it. It was on, I remember when it came out, and they wouldn't, I had to go to bed. I forgot how old I was. And my parents had my dad's cousins come over. They're all musicians. And we had an upright piano, and he started playing the theme to The Exorcist. It woke me up.
Oh, that's
And
creepy.
so I kind of came out of the bedroom and I'm like listening in. And he was the one, one of his buddies was the sound engineer for this movie. And one of the other reasons why it was so scary, not just the subject matter, it was the first movie to use infrasound in
Wow.
the soundtrack. So
Wow.
he studied, infrasound, and this is why it was like super creepy.
Mhm.
I remember when they re-released it a bunch of years back, and I was watching it in a movie theater because they never saw it in the theater.
Right.
There's one scene with Linda Blair doing the crab down the stairs, and
Mhm.
her head just goes quick and
Yep.
and these kids like, oh my god, that was one of the most intense movies ever made. You can't even, it's like really, it's up there as far as great horror movies.
It is.
I'm going to tell you that the book is 10 times worse. I'm just going to tell you.
No, it is.
It's 10 times worse.
I've never read the book.
I read the book later. Because somebody said, hey, you know, if you're up to it, you really need to read and see everything that they left out of the movie. And I was oh my goodness. And it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
a lot of the movie though, you got to think, okay, so compared to like the actual thing the actual true story, it really did happen to a boy. It wasn't a girl.
Right.
And his name was Rawlins. And he, a lot of the things in the movie, get down, kitty, was really sensationalized, like his head didn't spin around or, anything like that. So the actual diaries that the priest kept, talked about a lot of things that did happen, but like, a lot of it was sensationalized as well.
Yeah, but that started the Access 2, 3, and a series. Things not as scary, but things happen on each one of those sets that continue to plague those productions.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah. So do you think that the devil had something to do with that?
I think in all these things I
do too.
Or one of his minion. Like go set, go tell him I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I ran across audio of it's a famous possession, Emily
Rose.
No, yeah.
Okay, there you go, Emily Rose. So I started, just listening to the files and things and I shut it off. I'm like, I do not want to breathe that into my home. Thank you. No.
Right.
I automatically just turned it off. I said, no, thank you.
I'm going to tell you that you did a good thing on that because, and you may disagree and everybody has their opinion, but just because it's recorded doesn't mean it can't actually continue to happen.
Correct.
Right.
So there's a couple of different weird cases where people are watching something like that, or they watch The Real Exorcism and weird stuff started happening in the houses. It becomes like a portal or a tunnel, and it gives it energy, and it to a mass audience. I mean, that's what you want, or that's what the devil wants. So yeah, sometimes it's not good to just. I got in trouble. I bought a new house in Florida. I had someone I knew I was friendly with. They do hoodoo, voodoo, whatever the hell it was. They wanted me to work on their book. It was all about demon names and formatting, whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it in my house. I'll do it in the old apartment. It's already freaking haunted. And I got pissed off, and they no longer talked to me because they didn't like the way I was saying it. But it was like, this is a new house. I was getting frustrated. I'm like, I don't want to do it in this house, and whatever. And I don't play with any of these things. I'm not like, I know I gave you out little mini Jesus. I am a God-fearing person. I figure we have stones in our pockets. We have incense. Why not a baby Jesus? So like if they made a little Buddha, I would probably give those out too. So it didn't hurt. Although little Jay was really cool through the dirty South, but
I carry Jesus with me everywhere I go now, Brian. Thank you.
It's great. It's a little bit weird. Like you're like, okay, is he part of a cult now? No, I'm not.
No, I got little Jesus in my car. He goes everywhere I go now.
Yeah, I was just like when before I saw the pterodactyl, I was like, dude, no tickets, right? Rock on.
No tickets, but I'll raise you a pterodactyl.
Right.
That was weird. I'm still. I have the. There's so many little mini files I'm going through. I'm like kind of speeding through, like trying to remember because I have a photographic memory. I can remember the road, and I know I don't have to go through all of them, but I got to figure out the timing. But I just don't play with this stuff. There are other people in the field, they play with it. They get the portals out. They get all that stuff out. I'll tell you where the portal is, and I'll help you close the portal. But when it gets something that is that kind of ancient, old, and evil,
Yep.
unless I don't know. I think Tony has like the support or the hand of somebody supporting him in the background because. You got to have a good constitution with that and no kids around because you don't know what you're bringing home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I if it were something that bad, I'd have to hand it over to the Vatican myself. I'd be like, yeah, here you go. Here.
Okay. So a couple things here. So I'm a big fan of the Paranormal Files with Colin Bruin. And he always has a disclaimer on the beginning of his shows, just listening or watching the show could bring stuff to your home. And I believe that. I truly believe that. And like Brandy, she's notorious for going back and listening to EVPs in her house.
All the time.
I believe that could open things, listening to the EVPs and watching some of these shows, was even mentioned, even those movies, but even like these real paranormal shows that go into places, I do believe that.
I think you have somebody that hangs out every once in a while, right? And I actually think it's a relative, personally. The vibe I was getting right off the bat is family, like that is bored. Like I want to do more than this, but it's a good thing because they're there when they need you to be. They would need you to be there. I don't. You know what I've seen all this horror stuff in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do I enjoy it in movies. I loved American Werewolf in London. Love that movie to death. Yeah. Thought it was great. Like the comedy mix to it. I've seen some other stuff, but to be honest, I listen to EVPs in the house. I'm sitting there with headphones.
Yeah, I am too. Because I need to hear every pin drop.
Right. And then you gotta jack up the volume and you're like, I'm literally going, that right arrow button. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's why I use a program called Sonic Visualizer, free. And I put the sound into the visualizer and I look for where the lines are and it gives me the timestamp. So I know right off the bat that when I put it into another program to play it and cut it up, I know where I'm going.
Right.
It will show you the slightest thing in visual form. So you don't have to go sit there because I remember my recorder was every 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. You know how that's 4 recordings every hour and you're on a 15-hour investigation.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot of listening. And I agree with Michelle here. I think once you're open to energy, you attract energy from anywhere. I would agree.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Mm-hmm. I'm everybody's heard my stories. And it's not that I don't do the whole, not necessarily cleansing myself when I leave a location, but it's always the don't follow me home thing, leave me alone. Mm-hmm. You're not allowed to come with me. We can tell them that and we can be forceful, but that doesn't mean they can't come a different way. So,
exactly.
Right. So, and then I'm at home. Y'all aren't at home. What are we doing? We are talking about ghosts, spirits, all that kind of thing. So we're actually feeding it energy, just being on these podcasts and talking about them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And as much as Chris and I listen to podcasts, we do podcasts, we ghost hunt, we do all the things. It's like, this is our life, right? Mm-hmm. So is it going to happen to us? Yes. Me more often than Krista. I don't know why. I do, because I'm not going to say this in a bad way. She's meaner than I am.
I am.
Admin
She
HR.
is.
I got it.
She's meaner than I am. I'm kind of like, well, look what you want. I'm a boring person. You're going to be leaving in a couple days anyway because you don't want to stay here. And that's usually what happens when these things come around. They're like,
Right.
oh, what's she doing? Da, da, da. Oh, God. This
Well,
is boring.
when I left Emmaus, right, and I was heading down, I didn't sleep very well. BMR. I got up. I didn't want to snore, and I don't want to be the one snoring. And I wanted to see, say goodbye to both you and him. And I wanted to check to see if Brandy got back and whatever. It was a lot. And it sucks when you see SOS on your phone, and you're like, "Yeah, shit, out of luck, whatever." But I'm driving from there. I went down to Arkansas, and I think it's Marion, Arkansas, to stay over the night. And I'm driving. I'm talking to a friend of mine, and it was at one point it was a two-way conversation. Then he just took over and rambled. We all have friends like blah, 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 and it's just like whatever. And I was trying to be nice. I need an out. My friend Cisco, she does a show, Journey Through the Paranormal Gate or whatever. She calls in. I was like, "This is my out. Hey, my kid's calling," and she's like, "What's going on with you?" I got an image in my head, and she's from Alabama. And she goes, something's not right. And I'm like, no, and I explained everything. She goes, nope, there's some energy there. I can feel it, whatever. And you need to rebuke it right now. And I did. I said, I rebuke all evil. You're not allowed to come with me, in Jesus' name. And I mean, I just rebuked everything. And we talked, and she goes, okay, keep going. And then it kind of dissipated. And I went from almost in a lull, like I was going to have an accident if I kept going, sleeping, to I'm awake now. I felt a little bit different. So it's just very interesting how people pick up on things like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And some people are going to be like mama hens or helicopter dads on that. But I'd rather have those people in my life than the people like, they'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, and Krista is really good when it comes to sensing things and feeling things and stuff like that. And it presents in her a different way than it presents in me. But it seems like mine is ever changing. Now I'm picking up smells, which I had never had that before. And just probably in the last year, I've been picking up smells and stuff. Krista, my God, she tells you, hey, nope, I don't feel good. I'm feeling queasy. We got to go. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Because I only get that when there's something really, really bad around. And you know what? Let me tell you something. So this past Saturday, I did Missouri State Penitentiary. And I got a hotel room after. And I'm laying there, and I turned off the TV. And by God, that sucker turned back on. And then it turned back off. And I'm like, I don't think so. You get out of here. You go back to right where you come from. Yeah, I haven't had any issues with it at all since then.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, when I did the first tour around there, and I was going to tell you in that World War I room, I felt these guys were strong. These are like pride. And then my heart started fluttering out of nowhere. I'm like, I need to leave this room right now. And I walked. As soon as I got past the threshold, everything went back. That was really, really bizarre. I was actually, when we went to the Emmaus and we went up to that second floor with the room where they handcuffed him. I told you this, guys. I saw him. He looked like the Undertaker or Hacksaw, whatever his name was. He had like this mask around his face, and he was all disheveled, and he had like weird hair. And I said, I felt it. If you locked me here, I would go nuts too, and I'd break this door down and do whatever. And I kind of got the vibe like he understands me. I'm like, I did, but I'm like, big guy, you're staying here by yourself. I'm not taking you with me.
Right.
It was a little bit weird. There were certain spots, but some people, they don't care. They just go in and they do what they do.
Yeah.
I used to investigate with Al. He gets jumped all the time. And it's not good. I mean, you go in there with the best intentions, but you have no control over something that's they're a lot more powerful than you think.
Right. You are, and it's your
Yeah.
words. Like, when I told that thing to get out of the room, like I meant it. I wasn't playing.
Oh, yeah.
And I do feel like that. Like you said, you have more power than you realize. Like you got to mean your words, or they're just words.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you give it that little bit of a, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you're done. They're gonna take advantage of you, and then they're gonna be in your house like, oh, who lives up here?
Right. Right.
Next thing stops flying across the ceiling. You're like,
Yeah. Yep.
Mom, can you stop going to the penitentiaries?
No.
I kind of like this penitentiary. I'm going back in June again. So, Lisa asked real quick, Blondes and Booze, have you investigated an area over where the conference was? Yes, we actually.
Yeah.
Ray County Museum, we actually investigated that evening as well. And
yeah, she left me with the cook.
I did.
Yeah, you go, I'm just going to leave you in here with her.
Yeah, and
she doesn't like men.
She doesn't like men in her area either.
Yeah, but you know what I did? I took an approach of being proper and polite, saying ma'am, and I kind of got in I said, ma'am, I've been working. May I have something to eat, please?
Yeah,
smells good. May I have something? And I kind of got the feeling like, okay, I'll give you something. She was a little bit better, but that's a tough lady in there.
Yeah. Well, I would not have left you in there if it was something bad. I knew she would.
No. I know it wasn't, but it's all in your approach too, right? I mean, well, for me, it's do you want to come in and go, dare something, or do you want to say, hey, if you want to, Mick Foley is the wrestler. Yes, Diane. I'm looking at the chat. How you approach it, like don't be a Zach Teabaggins and instigate stuff with people. George did, all those people talk about sets that are every one of them. Look what just happened to Aaron. His wife is trying to kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, and then what's his name that left? I forgot his name that left. He literally got so effed up. He had to go to the church like for 6 months straight, and he was not right. His whole everything was screwed up. So what are you willing to give to be on TV and have a #1 show?
Right.
Your soul.
Not me.
No, that's mine.
Yeah.
That's mine, and for my soulmate, whoever she may be. But that's it.
No. You can't have it. That's it.
No,
that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
All right. Back on movie sets.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Me and Brandy, we always get sidetracked.
Always. It's a runaway train, everybody.
Well,
just hang on. Seatbelt seatbelt yourself in. Keep your arms inside the cabin while it is in motion at all times.
If you're going in kind of like we were in 1970s and whatever, might as well just hit the Omen.
Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah.
I got that up here to talk about.
Yeah.
So
Gregory Peck.
All right. So that movie was made in 1976. And it had lightning strikes on multiple planes associated with the production, the decapitation of the set designer John Richardson in a car accident that mirrored a death scene that he created, and other accidents that fueled rumors of supernatural jinx on the film. So I think it says several people involved had their plane struck by lightning, including Gregory Peck, who was a lead actor, and then the producer Mace Newfield and the writer David Seltzer, all on different planes, all had lightning strikes, which that's kind of wonky,
Yeah.
It is really wonky. Something kind of strange when I saw Jared Kushner, Ivanka's husband, I got a vibe of Damien. And then Damien is from The Exorcist. He's the little boy that's the devil. And then what's his name?
Omen. Isn't he the Omen?
Omen, I mean. Sorry, the Omen. Yeah, and then the singer Ed, I forgot his name. He's popular right now. His red hair.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, he kind of looks a little bit like Damien from The Omen.
Damien's a creepy freaking kid. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There are two names, and I'm sorry if anybody has children or grandchildren that are these names, but two names that I would never have or name anyone, and that is Damien and Reagan.
Yeah.
Those two
No,
names,
that's on
forget
the shit
it.
list.
They're out. Oh, and there's one more. Gage was the other one. Gage. That's Pet Cemetery, people. That's Pet Cemetery.
That's
that little boy.
Yep. Oh, I
And
remember.
all I can hear is that little boy going, "I want to play with you."
Right?
No.
No, we're good.
No.
Yeah.
You're gonna go find your mama. It ain't me.
I don't know. I just think like that. Okay, so that's kind of wonky. Like the guy got decapitated in the real car accident after he just created the scene in this movie.
But there's also something in that movie. One of the guys gets a speared. It falls off the church. The father, he's outside in the storm, and this huge, like, I guess, lightning rod comes down and impales him through the skin. Somebody on that movie set had the same thing happen to him.
Oh my gosh.
It's missing from this because I remember hearing that.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's kind of
yes. No, thank you.
wonky.
Yeah, that's wonky. That's my word. I like wonky.
Wonky.
But I'm wondering, I'm wondering if people are manifesting these things into existence.
I think the subject matter is manifesting it. You're
Yeah.
talking about the devil and then the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a lot of candidates for the Antichrist lately.
That's true.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them, and I'm not naming them here. But
no,
I'm
we're not
saying,
getting to that because that gets a little bit too.
We'll probably get yanked off of YouTube by then. So
no, we're not
no, there's a bunch, and there have been over the last decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at least the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
There has been quite a few that I would say fits the qualifications.
I'm going to tell you there's someone that just announced that they were pregnant with their first child.
I don't know.
And it's George Soros's son and his wife, she's pregnant with their first child. And it's all about the Middle East. I don't even want to I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what I said. No, we don't want to get yanked off.
No,
YouTube,
it's really weird. I just saw that the other day, and I'm like, if anybody was a candidate, there you go.
Yeah,
they're one of many.
There's a few. There's a few.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Like when you hear certain names, like I know somebody named Reagan, that I went to high school with, and we're like, how was it? Knowing that you were the same name as The Exorcist? She goes, it sucked. She did not like it.
I don't know anybody with that name.
It's a really weird name.
I think there was 2 of them while I was growing up, but they were older than the movie.
Yeah.
So, that was totally different. But Damien.
Yeah.
People are still naming their kids Damien. Stop it.
Oh yeah.
Stop it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna have a whole new name for your kid. Your kid will never be known by Damien ever.
One of my friends bought a nice house in a nice neighborhood in New York, and it looked like the White House. It looked very much. I'm like, this house looks so familiar. And we're all hanging out like, doesn't this house look familiar? I'm like, yeah, what is it? And then it hit me, dude, this is the Omen house. And we were like, holy shit, this is it. It had everything, and we're all barbecuing in the backyard. There's a ton of people, and it even had that ledge on the second floor.
Oh, wow.
And one of us said, do you think their housekeeper is going to hang herself from there going, I love you, Damon? And just swing down from a tree. It was weird. It was uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Mickey said, well, I named my son after an actor that passed away, Brandon. Was that Brandon Lee?
Well, that's one of the movies I have up here. I have The Crow up here.
Yes, The Crow is up here.
Yep.
I was wondering if that was the particular actor that she was speaking of. And she said yes.
Wow. Yes. So there is a lot of, not just Brandon Lee's death, there's a lot of wonky things that happened on that set besides his death. So one thing was an electrocution. A crane worker was electrocuted and burned on the first day of shooting. Fires. An equipment truck caught fire and a separate fire broke out involving a cherry picker. Set damage. A truck drove through the set, causing damage, and a carpenter was electrocuted during a late night shoot, resulting in the shutdown of the lighting system. A set worker fell through a set rooftop and broke several ribs. Several other workers accidentally stabbed his hand with a screwdriver, or another worker accidentally stabbed his hand with a screwdriver. And a blizzard and a hurricane both ravaged the set, destroying multiple sets.
And Brandon Lee died in the same manner it was described in the last movie that Bruce did.
Right, his father.
About them doing a movie and putting real bullets in instead of
it was a prop gun that killed him. Yeah, that's scary. Seriously.
Yeah, I still think that there is a conspiracy there. I do not believe that somebody who is, I don't know, in charge of props would make that mistake.
So here it talks about that. So
why would you even have the real thing there? That was
so I'm going to tell you what it says here. This is what they say. It says, while filming the scene where his character is shot, a prop gun discharged a real bullet that had been lodged in the barrel from a previous incident. A homemade dummy bullet had been created by removing the gunpowder from a real bullet and lodging the lead tip into the gun's barrel. A subsequent firing with a blank round propelled this tip forward, fatally wounding Lee. The incident was a result of negligence and a series of poor decisions, including the lack of safety checks on the weapon. And then it says the incident led to police investigations and a decision to use a stunt double and CGI for the remaining scenes.
Yeah, because that is just like, you're hired. That is your job to ensure the safety of your stunt people, your actors, everybody. And you didn't realize that there was a bullet in there. I'm sorry. Every time that I take a magazine out of my pistol, I make sure there's not one in the barrel. It's just common sense.
Yeah. I tell you, I would, it's gun safety 101 for live rounds. But if you're working on a set, there should be no live rounds anywhere near the set. To put that in there. But let me, just so people understand, there is enough in a I forgot what the name of the round is, but a non-live round where they use blanks. If you're using a 44 or 22 or whatever it is, there's enough force in there to cause damage. There was a guy in the show, I think it was called Sliders. There was an actor that was playing around with one of those things that had just the blank in it, and he caused a fracture in his skull and he died on set because he shot himself like playing Russian roulette, whatever. But it was just a blank. So I would be like, let me see if
that is. I'm just gonna say that was not a good.
No, not a good choice.
Yeah, it wasn't a good choice.
No.
But for what had happened, it was kind of like you only had one job.
Right. You couldn't make sure it was safe.
Yeah.
Or what was that person
the only
paid?
thing you have to do is make sure that it works properly.
Right. Yeah. And
See,
it doesn't
I'm
talk
sorry.
about.
I think there was more to it. I'm
sorry. Agree. Just like I think there was more to a recent version of that with guy from New York. Name rhymes with Baldwin.
Yeah.
And there was there's a lot of hunky, there's something not right about that whole story.
Yeah.
So
they didn't charge him with that, did they?
I don't think he was charged with it.
I don't think so either.
That's something about that wasn't right. I'm telling you, there's something about it wasn't right.
Yeah,
How can I do all these westerns? They use guns left and right on Tombstone. Yellow. Tombstone. No, Yellow, whatever it is. And they're doing these western movies. They're using guns and they're pointing at people. if you're a firearm safety, you have to be certified for this. There's no joking around about it. What they are the boss on the set, not the producer, not the director. They're like, no, I'm going to make sure these rounds are what, and they quadruple check.
Yeah.
And
Well, here's
none of
the
it
thing
gets out
too.
of their view.
Yeah, I do. Well, I did. I don't do it anymore. Civil War reenacting, and we use real guns. However, it's not real bullets. You put cream of wheat in there, and you pack it down. And anyway, but at the end of a battle, you never get close to anybody, even though it is fake. You don't get close to anybody because it can hurt. And then at the end, when you're done, they discharge their guns, and make sure they're all empty. I mean, so
because apparently this gun, they didn't check it from the last time they used it. They did not secure it then.
How do you not do that?
Right. And then they didn't secure it when it got to that set.
Yeah.
I would call that negligent.
I would agree.
Very negligent. Somebody should have done some prison time for that one.
I think somebody should have gotten in trouble for that.
Absolutely.
Well,
you know what? I again, my gut says he was involved in something, and there's more to this.
Yeah.
And it's not just the prop person.
There's more to it. There's more. You're right. And we'll have to, I don't know, make a different channel and talk about these little
on Rumble
we have. Rumble. But I mean, you're right, Brian. There is way more than we know, and people aren't talking about it at all. There's little rumbles of things, but they don't really talk about it. And I'm like, there's no way you can't not check it from the last place it was, and then didn't check it at the new place, and then you didn't check it before they were going to use it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I
would have checked it.
That's times, 3 missed opportunities. They could have ensured that thing would have been fine.
Yeah,
but they missed all 3.
Mm-hmm.
I literally would have cracked it open, went with my own hands, okay, and to make sure myself right in front of the armor person, and say, no, let's go, open it up and look in. I check it like just any other firearm I received.
Well, apparently they didn't clean it either.
That doesn't help.
I'm like, because you could have a misfire and all kinds of things with blanks if you're not cleaning your stuff properly. I'm going to quit now. Let's move on to the next movie because this one makes me upset.
Especially if you're using a suppressor, but that's a different story. Join us on Blondes and Booms on Rumble.
Blondes and Booms on Rumble. It's coming.
Right.
Yeah. Featuring.
Yes.
Sir Brian Bowden.
Yeah.
He's going to be on there.
I gotta dye my hair blonde. I'll go as Bri Ferretti.
Right.
Good food in your restaurant.
All right. Next movie. I got 2 more to talk about.
Okay.
Sure.
One of them is Amityville.
Yes.
So, but they're talking about the 2005 remake, not the original. So it just says that it was shot in various locations, including in Illinois and Wisconsin. However, crew members witnessed reporting flickering lights and malfunctioning equipment. And then a major claim was the discovery of a dead body washing up on a lake shore near the film's Wisconsin set, which was a disturbing event for the production team, obviously. And then it says lead actor Ryan Reynolds reportedly experienced being woken up at 3:15 a.m. every night while a priest on set allegedly heard a voice yell, "Get out."
We need to get a hold of him and have him on the show.
Sure, just go call Ryan Reynolds. I'm
just going to call him up, say, hey, Ryan, look, we need to talk about this.
Yeah, we got to talk, man.
Yeah, we got to talk. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the under on that one.
I don't really think that one's cursed. I think it was just haunted locations.
I think it actually was a haunted location because he wasn't the only one that had the 3 o'clock in the morning thing going on. There were other people, and depending on, I mean, the dead body is kind of interesting, washing up.
Yeah.
So something's going on in the area where they had the house. So I think it was just really haunted.
I do too. I do too.
Mhm.
I
So,
mean,
speaking of that, do you think the house itself, like the real house now, do you think that's haunted?
no,
I don't either.
I
don't-
think there's Indian connections to it, but I don't think it's haunted. I think that was just an opportunity personally. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Randy. I'll be
No,
quiet.
that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm gonna go with, because we did a whole episode which was absolutely fantastic on that whole Amityville house, and we did that on the Paranormal Show and Tell, and that's on our Wednesday night show. But we did it, but we talked about things that people just don't talk about when they talk about the Amityville horror, about who started all this, what happened. And I think it was the Lutz family that began the whole fiasco, inviting all of this crap in. And I believe it followed them out.
I would agree. Okay, so the well-known picture supposedly taken by Ed and Lorraine Warren of the kid in that.
Yes.
I think that's fake.
A lot of people are saying that. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that.
I do.
The current trend today is to attack the Warrens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not attacking them, mind you. I'm just saying the current trend, because I keep seeing this, people going after Ed and Lorraine. I think it was haunted, and they were trying to figure out a way to, it's around the time of all these horror movies. What can we do
They
to
were
sell
trying
this
to
place?
cash in.
And they were cashing in. But again, be careful. If you know who Rosemary Ellen Guiley is,
I do.
yeah, I was friends with her. She was a really great, wonderful lady. When she wrote her last book and she was presenting it, I'm like, what is she writing in the book? And it was, be careful what you wish for, Rosemary. Be careful what you say, So don't invite something into your home
That's right.
that you would not want.
Well, yeah, because that's how possessions happen.
Right.
That's it. Absolutely. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that also includes, like there are certain people. I heard this from my friend Al. He was in the post office. There was a guy from Africa that was a postman, and they were talking about different things because they found out he does paranormal stuff. And the guy goes, anytime I go over to my family's house with my family, we sage ourselves before we go into that house, because we don't know what's going on in that house, and we don't want that shit to come with us.
Wow.
And you may want, hey Pancho, you may want to do that before you go into a certain location, like when you're going over to family. Family can be the worst haunting ever. And if they're having a bad day or a fight in that house, that negativity is lingering there.
Right.
And you'll pick up on it. So it was just kind of interesting,
Yeah.
Instead of, yeah.
I don't know.
It lingers in a lot of places, not just family. I mean, everywhere. Of course,
So
I
I do have a question. Go ahead, Brandy.
Go ahead. I was going to say, like today, I had to go grocery shopping after I picked my daughter up, and today has just been a real wild day. People have had that negative energy about them. I mean, just tons and tons of people today, and I'm like, it's because it's hot again, people. I know. When it gets hot outside, people get angry. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
So when we had to go to the grocery store, and I say, well, we were about 10 to 15 minutes in, she's like, I want to get out of here. I said, I do too. I got to go, but we got to get this done because I don't want to have to come back.
Right.
I don't want to come back here, but I got to get it done. But, it does affect people. And,
Absolutely.
They say negativity spreads, but so does positivity.
Right.
But negativity spreads, and it just spreads from this household to this household to this household.
Yeah.
And, it's just a problem. It's an absolute problem. And I get it.
It only takes one little small act of kindness to change that negativity.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I've been in the supermarket, and sometimes you're just like, I don't want to go to this damn store.
I don't either.
I've taken my youngest. She's been doing this since she can kind of like, not like when she was just talking, but when she was more aware and stressed out. People like, I'm me first, whatever. I just want to get out. And even the person, the cashier, was just not nice.
Yeah.
My daughter goes, I love your earrings. And she stops. She goes, and she grabs it and she starts to smile. She goes, yeah, I like, they're pretty. Oh, she goes, oh, thank you very much. And I'm like, I'm paying attention to everything that's going on. Totally took this woman who was ready to kill people and was like, oh, you have a nice day now. That's what she did. Changed it. And you can feel the energy lighten.
Absolutely.
Like when we used to sage in places, we have something called water of the god, agua de Dio, where you can't light a fire in a place. So like the Airbnb we stayed in, if we needed to sage that, and they said, you got to clean it, but you can't light incense, right? We used holy water, frankincense oil, myrrh, some other things, and we sprayed it. We did it to a woman's house, and you walked in there and it wasn't that bad, but I started spraying it. We started, clearing out the house. Within 5 sprays, it felt super light in that house. It was noticeably light.
And smelled really good.
Oh, it does smell great too.
It smells great too. Because it does. Frankincense is one of my favorites. I don't know why. I like it smells clean. So it would make sense for it to cleanse. Yeah.
And you put myrrh in there and you put some holy oil and there's something about it. Just, I don't know if it's psychological or if it's just, I think it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Maybe. Yeah.
So.
Yep. But I know. But I think that, again, I think the Lutz family invited all of that stuff in.
Yep.
And they are, I think, 100% responsible for everything that happened after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't prove that in a court of law, but I mean, we know, being in this field, what it can do. And I think that they are 100% responsible.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so next one, I got one last movie to talk about.
Sure.
And it is Poltergeist.
Yes.
So Poltergeist.
To the light, Carolyn. Sorry.
Carolyn. Yeah, that was a pretty sad movie. Honestly, the way that everything,
Didn't she die of an asthma attack?
So here, a bunch of people died. So the first actor to meet a tragic and unforeseen fate was Dominic Dune, who played the original older sister, Dana. In 1982, the actor separated from her partner, John Sweeney. That November, he showed up at Dune's house, pleading for her to take him back. When she refused, Sweeney grabbed Dune's neck, choked her until she was unconscious, and left her to die in her Hollywood home's driveway. He only got 6.5 years in prison and was released after 3 years and 7 months.
Yep.
No,
that is effed up. I'm just saying. Yeah,
so, because they couldn't pin first degree on him because he probably didn't have he wasn't going over there to do it. He just wasn't the emotion, the raw emotion.
He should have gotten more than 3 years,
I would have at least given him 25 to life.
Yeah,
with
a
the
big number gets
possibility
more
of
than
parole.
that,
Yeah.
The next one is Heather O'Rourke, who played the other daughter, Carol Ann, who is the young focal point of the movie. Only 6 years old when the first Poltergeist movie was released, O'Rourke captivated audiences, blah, 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 with her blonde hair. Okay. In 1987, she was misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease. The following year, she fell ill again, and her symptoms were casually attributed to the flu. A day later, she collapsed and suffered a cardiac arrest. After being airlifted to Children's Hospital in San Diego, O'Rourke died during an operation to correct a bowel obstruction, and it was later believed she had been suffering from congenital intestinal abnormality, whatever. You guys know what I mean. And then
you said it right.
Yes.
Yes, you
And
did.
then Poltergeist 3 was released 4 months after her death. So that's another one that was kind of.
I knew it had to do something
Yeah.
with her lungs. I was thinking it was asthma, but it's been a minute.
Yeah, so there's more. I'm not finished yet with the deaths, man. So, okay, the evil preacher Cain, you remember him?
Yep.
Yes.
He was played by Julian Beck. In 1983, Beck had been diagnosed with stomach cancer, which took his life soon after he finished the work on the second installment of the series. The same film was met with further tragedy after Will Sampson, who played Taylor, the Native American shaman, died in 1987 after undergoing a heart-lung transplant, which he had a very slim chance of survival. Wow. So that's not it.
I'm sorry. Well, that creepy old man was the creepiest old man of any movie I have ever seen.
So here's other things, not deaths, but other things. So it says Cass' deaths weren't the only agents of the curses, as other peculiar, I can't say that word, and creepy legends surround the film franchise. Jo Beth Williams, who played Mom Diane in the first 2 films, claimed that producer Spielberg insisted on using actual human skeletons as props in an attempt to save money. At the time, they were cheaper than plastic skeletons. Williams' claim has never been verified, but it persists to this day in the lore surrounding the movie's curse. I have heard that before too, that they used in the pool scene, when she's in there, and that would freak me out. I would rather have had plastic. I'm just saying. And then it says, finally, in an effort to further creep out everyone involved, Sampson, who was a real life medicine man in addition to being an actor, performed an authentic exorcism after shooting wrapped up one night. One can only imagine how this made the other cast members feel.
I would have enjoyed that because you're getting this, you're doing what you're supposed to do. But I always have a problem when you go to a certain class, like your science class, depending on how old your school is, their skeletons are real skeletons.
Yeah.
So when you're playing in, that's someone's bones.
Yeah.
So it gets it gets weird when you're dealing with the dead.
It does.
It's uncomfortable.
And to me, that is, you couldn't disrespect that person any worse. Like, you couldn't. Like, that's awful. That's an awful thing to do.
There's some people that don't care. They'll sell their body to science and they'll get paid and things that they do. There's one guy
money when you're dead.
There's a guy that recently did it, and they literally sliced his whole entire body in like millimeters throughout the whole thing, and they took slides of each one of them so you can have a 3-dimensional. Yeah, I don't know. I'm good. There are certain rituals. If you go in, when you go to your church or your temple or your synagogue or wherever you go, and when I go there, I always read the footnotes because that's where the good stuff is, and people go like, wow, he's really into it. And I'm like, I don't want to tell him, like, I'm looking up who you can marry, who you can't marry, what the red, this is, what that is, when's this temple. But you can go in there and you can read really the rites of death and what you need to do. There's a time frame involved from point A to point B. And it involves in when the soul gets to heaven or whatever it is. So it gets really, really weird. But most people just, my Irish friends, Uncle Harry's been sitting cranked up for the first half of the week, And I used to work in the private residence and kitchen for the Christian brothers who taught classes at Manhattan College. Wow. It was Halloween, and we had this young kid there, African-American kid there, and I was in charge to close the kitchen. We had a dead brother upstairs, and they had cocktails with them, and on the second floor, it was Halloween, and we're talking about all these different things, and kids asking questions about, you into monsters? And I'm like, yeah, well, I investigate that stuff. And what about vampires? They're real. I mean, there's some, real evidence to it. I said, can you go up and get the drinks and stuff? Because let's get out of here. And he goes, no, there's a dead body there. So I said, okay, no problem. So I went upstairs, got the drinks, came back down. We're cleaning up, and then this kid was freaking out because there was the dead body upstairs. So someone knocks on the screen door, and Brandy, I think Brandy, you were talking like you do it to text. When it's dark out and there's light on the other side, you can be right at the front, and they won't see you, and you can scare the crap out of people.
Yeah.
So I'm in the kitchen. I can see the screen door, and I say, "Hey, get the door. It looks like they have flowers." Like, who is it? It's like, "Oh, we have a bouquet for brother, whatever, Barry." I said, "Go get the door." It opens the door.
Wow.
The flowers come down. She's dressed as Elvira the vampire. The kid screams and just cuts out. And this woman's like, "What's going on?" And I'm laughing my ass off. Like, "Here you go. Thank you very much." He never came back to work because the whole thing was, the setup, the dead body, the whole thing. And we were talking about vampires just prior till Elvira showed up at the front door. So good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Me personally, I just feel like that, you couldn't, I guess, desecrate a body worse than publicizing it and using it as a prop.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm good.
So that brings me to the point about how back in the Wild Wild West, we're just going to go with that, where they would, end a thief's life, okay, and then they drag him back to town and prop him up,
right,
and take a picture.
Right. Yeah, they did. Not only just a thief, that's what they did, like back then, like to get a picture of
or a
their
family photo when one of the relatives passed.
Yeah.
What were we thinking, America? Just asking.
They would prop them up. I've seen some of those photos, and it's really weird.
Yeah, or they would just take a picture of them where they'd lay, like they'd bring them in on a wagon and just take the picture, like, boop, there it is. They're gone.
If you remember, right, the museum has a picture of Jesse James laying there in his
that's right,
coffin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean that was a normal occurrence to take pictures of bad people, and then family members. I'm just no.
I don't know.
We do things like this today. Anyhow, they're like selfie, I mean, someone's getting mugged and they're going like, I mean, like,
hey. Yeah.
Hey.
But also my grandparents, okay, they never liked their picture taken.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a lot of Native American ties in my family. I mean, you can't tell with blonde hair and blue eyes, but they wouldn't look directly into the camera if they had to be in the picture, ever.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
They would just kind of look away or something. It's just, a lot of it was they were told that would like kind of like, I don't know, steal your soul, or or something like that. So they just would just kind of just look away. They would never look straight on at the camera like we do today, like going, geez. None of that. None of that.
They never freaking smiled.
No.
Mm-mm. I wonder why.
My father's mother had that native toned skin, high cheekbones, almond eyes, black hair, and I studied indigenous. I knew who she was my entire life, and I'm like. My dad even goes, I think my mom had native blood in her. I'm like, you think? I mean, she looked like your quintessential Native American. And I was raised during the summers when my mother worked as a head counselor in a sleepaway camp. I was raised by two Native Americans, legit. Penny and her brother, I forgot his brother's name. And they called me Little Bear with Big Mouth. Because I would cry sometimes a lot, but I've always had this affinity to it. But I've heard this before. Like, this is why the Amish won't look at you if you try to take a picture of them. Right. They don't. It's like they take your soul, and they don't want that. I think it's because it's vanity.
Maybe so. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I just, I don't know. I just remember being in San Antonio. Okay, just speaking about Poltergeist and that movie. Being in San Antonio, and I always love taking the spooky tours. Because you don't know what's
Yep.
real, what's not. What's made up, whatever. But they were talking about how they had a cemetery that was built closer into downtown San Antonio, and then they had a great flood that went through San Antonio, which washed out some of the bodies, and then the bodies were floating. And that's exactly what I thought about that movie. I thought as soon as they were saying that, I'm thinking, oh my God, was somebody's house there? Is it, wait, did this really, and they were talking about that. That's why they had to, relocate them further out of town, out of the flood zone. But no, again, no, thanks. I mean, that is the scariest part of the whole movie was the I guess the old man, the scary old man, and the pool scene. Those two things.
I agree.
I forget it. I forget the goop and the glop when she falls out of the ceiling and the
That was just slime.
that's just slime. We're okay with that.
Bones
But
coming up,
creepy old
floating
man
over.
talking. God,
Yeah.
that creepy old man. I was like, oh.
I don't know if they do this anywhere where you guys have ever lived or been, but I know in the state of Connecticut, they've denied it, but they've been caught. They used to flood towns to make rivers or, lakes. And a lot of times they were supposed to take the bodies out and move them, but they weren't moved.
Yeah. Land
And
between the lakes,
they pop up every once in a while.
Same thing there. Land between the lakes, there's when the water's low enough that there's a grave that pops out of the water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's different than, you bury somebody out of respect and then that land is so low that you don't realize, 100 years from now, it's going to be flooded. So that's a different story, but to purposely not take the bodies out was crazy.
So right here at St. Louis Airport, supposedly there was an old cemetery and they didn't remove a lot of the bodies. Brandy and I just talked about this not that long ago on one of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it dates way back to like the slave days, way back there. And so
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that there's still supposedly a lot of bodies when they, St. Louis Airport is huge and they took up a lot of houses. They took up a lot of the area and cemetery was one of them. And supposedly the bodies did not get moved.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot like, okay. So in the town that I live in, there is a Catholic cemetery. And the Catholic cemetery is very nice and it's surrounded. Well, over time they had built, buildings, and there is kind of like a little strip mall, just a little one, and it's kind of across the street from it on a side road, and it's across the street from it. And the cemetery, as the rumors go, that people who were not members of the church or not viewed as a real Catholic, whatever, they would want to bury them in there, but they were denied. So what would happen is they would come in the middle of the night and bury them as close as they can get them. So when they were building all of this other stuff that is surrounding it, they never said that they ran into anything. But again, rumor has it, they did. But it wasn't sanctioned by the church. And when they were building all those roads and stuff, they just didn't say anything.
So there's an area over in New York that we used to go to shop at a Costco. There's a place called Stu Leonard's Costco, and then there was a Home Depot. And I remember when this place, there is a cemetery, if you're looking at this place, about a quarter of a mile, no more than about a half a mile or a mile away to, away from them. But in this place, I noticed that they put a plaque up. Well, that used to be where they were building was a Jewish cemetery. It's like 100+ years old.
Right.
So they had they supposedly removed them and moved them because after 100 years, folks, if they find your body, they don't have to do anything but throw you out.
Really?
Yeah, it's most you're only guaranteed 100 years from when you're buried. It gets to this certain land usage. It's
That's
not
weird.
supposed to, but that's
Mhm.
again they can take your remains, but supposedly they moved them, but there was
Yeah.
always problems at that complex.
Mhm. I don't
You know?
even like when I walk in cemeteries, like walking on a grave. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Well, my youngest, I took her when she was 4, and she went to see my grandparents,
Mhm.
or more of a parent than my mother, and she was hopping on the different stones, and her mom was like, no, don't do that. I'm like, my grandfather would be thrilled right now
Mhm.
because he just didn't care. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
It's just, he granddaughters, grandsons, whatever. He just loved them. Let them do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So it depends on the individual. I'm with you on that. Went to
Mhm.
visit some other my kids, their other grandparents, and they're doing their thing, and I said my piece and I walked away, and I saw a grave, and I'm telling you, it looked like something came from within it and crawled its way out.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I took a picture of it at one point, and I'm like, that's not right. That is not. It was like something dug in that thing or crawled its way out of it, and I don't want to know what the hell it was.
Yeah, that's
A lot
crazy.
of dirt.
Okay, so this is a very interesting thing. Now, I was on a show with Paranormal Paul one night, and they had Tom Franklin on, and his girlfriend is a Mayan descendant.
Oh,
so,
cool.
so they do live in Mexico, and they were talking about Day of the Dead. It's really about the Day of the Dead. Okay, so they were telling us the ritual about what they do. That they go down, everybody gathers in the cemetery. They open up the enclosed thing where their loved ones are laying, and they clean them up. They have dinner, they enclose it, and go back about their business.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the rule is like if they are embalmed, you can do it after 2 years, and if they are not, it's after 5 years due to the state of decomposition. So I didn't know that. I knew that they would go down and do like a little celebration, have a picnic or whatever, but I did not realize that they actually open the remains every year and spruce
I
up
didn't
their
know
loved
that
ones.
either.
Yeah, they spruce up their loved ones and have dinner.
With the loved one?
Well, not sitting in a chair or anything.
Just
Yeah.
asking.
You never know, but no, that's not what she said. No, they just kind of spruce them up, and then they lay them back to rest, and then they have dinner
Until the next year.
until the next year.
So by sprucing up, what do they do?
Oh, clean out the dust. If they have any remaining hair, they'll fix it. That stuff.
Yeah. Your hair still grows for a long while after
Yeah,
you're done.
yeah. So they'll clean them up and make sure that they're in the most pristine condition they can be, and then put them, cover them back up.
I'm glad I'm getting cremated.
I thought that was very interesting because I didn't
It is
know that.
interesting.
They
And
can just freeze you.
there is kind of a language barrier. Just a hair with his girlfriend. She speaks English, but it's
Broken.
she's still learning. She's still learning.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I was like, are you kidding me? Now I want to go just to witness
know.
what you all do on this day, because I didn't know that they still did these things.
I didn't either.
It's like the cartoon Coco, where the kid plays the guitar and then he goes back to the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
It's to honor them, and if it's a little bit, there's some truth in what they were doing.
Yeah.
That if you don't remember, that's why a lot of cultures like candles, to remember and say prayers for the dead, to keep their memory alive, which keeps the energy going.
Right.
And if you don't do that, things, maybe something happens
Yeah.
where they fall back down to the bottom of the pyramid or whatever.
I
dead
just
bodies, they
found
just
that
freak me out, man. I don't
It's
like
weird.
dead bodies.
they don't me.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem. I think I missed my calling in life. I just find it interesting, that whole process, because basically we go back and to the cemeteries, graveyards, and we talk to our loved ones. We talk to their headstones, or their plaques in the ground, or to their spot. But these people actually get to see them again.
Yeah.
I want to remember them in their living state, not their dead state.
I guess that's just our culture. Our culture.
You're right.
Our culture is a little different,
right?
And they want to celebrate them every year. You know what I mean? It's just weird. I'm so
They're
sorry.
not afraid of death in most a lot of cultures.
Not at
Where
all.
here we kind of shy away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just some weird stuff, man.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But I just found that super interesting. I'm like, I want to go now. I want to see exactly what you all do. I don't think I'm morbid or anything. I just want to see exactly what it all entails. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I got
if margaritas are involved, we could all go.
I'm pretty sure there are. They say they have a really great dinner. I'm like, it's a party. I mean, not singing and dancing and whatever, but
want no part of it. No part of it. I watched a thing here not that long ago, and it's on the Body Farm. Have you guys heard about that?
The Body Farm?
Mm-hmm. So people donate their bodies to science, and there's a place, I don't remember where it was. I want to say it's like Tennessee.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And they let these bodies like rot and decompose, and then they study them for like when a murder victim is found, and then kind of say, hey, it's been, this body's been here for 3 weeks or whatever because of these bugs or whatever.
I think it was that guy that started that. I think his last name was Lee, Dr. Lee, and he was a world famous forensic pathologist. And they will know literally, depending on like the size of, like whatever is eating your flesh, how many days, how many minutes, how many hours, where you were.
Right. Exactly.
And when you liquefy, and it's really kind of like. Yeah.
And they do different scenarios. So they might leave you out in the sun, but then they might like throw you in a car. Like there was bodies in trunks of cars and stuff, but they do that on purpose just to see, like what's what. I don't know.
Exactly. They do it for forensic purposes, so they can figure out or pinpoint somebody's passing by the amount of decomp bugs and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's why they do all that. And as weird as it sounds, and maybe disturbing, that's a better word, disturbing as it sounds to some of us, but there's a real need for it. Mm-hmm. There is real need for that sort of thing. It's just crazy.
I think it takes a special person to do with that, or even be like work in a funeral home. I think it takes a special kind of person to do that. I couldn't do it.
I know somebody was a mortician in a funeral home. Mm-hmm. And they found I was into the paranormal, and they said they lived there.
Yeah, I investigated a funeral home.
Yeah, and she was like, "Bro, they have stuff there that just."
Yeah.
I kind of turned the radio on a little bit louder, and I just let them do what they do, but it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I think that a common misconception that people say is, that's where they embalm, they do all the stuff. I don't think that's the souls of the people that passed that are in there. Yeah. I think it is the things that the families bring with them, their mourning, that real bad, sad energy with them that, again, when we talk about manifestation, creating these things or welcoming things into basically, I guess, feed off of that.
Yeah.
So I would say, I would believe that. Hospitals too. I mean, asylums, anything like that. I think that's where they come to feed, and they just stay there.
There is some that goes on because I think you had her on, Lynn Monet.
Ron.
And we used to talk, and she would talk to you. I know people work in the units where they know people are dying very, very soon.
Yes.
And there's usually a sign that takes place, like something famous would be like a black cat would show up out of nowhere, and they're like, oh, okay, death's calling. But this is how it works anyhow, like if you don't have some crazy accident where it was, you don't have the time to get someone to bring you across. That's where we get the people that hang out too long. And you got to go to the light in some of these places. You got to travel them into the light because they wake up like, where the hell am I?
Right.
They don't realize they're dead. And then they're looking around and then they look for a psychic and whatever. But when you're in a home or a hospital, a lot of times when you see family members and they're passed away, they're like, I see my dog,
Right.
Oh my God, that's my dog. And no one's there, but they are there. They're transiting their vibrational plane with the next level. And then mom and dad or the dog will bring you in, and then you go through the whole program. And and if you don't think you're going to be judged, you're going to be in for a rude awakening.
I mean, there's those things. Of course, there's physical signs that are disheartening to see because you're right there at the end. It's like it's coming. It's happening, and I wish I knew what they were thinking at that point. Just if they were just like, if it was black in their subconscious and they just don't know anything's happening at that point until everything goes, or are they seeing the loved ones and can't communicate that, and feeling that love and seeing the tunnel that everybody talks about, or it's very interesting to me what is happening, because they say that they have done tests and things like that where the brain was constantly moving. It was just there's a lot of things going on right there at the end, even though their body could not move or talk or even be awake, but they had their brain scans were just off the charts. So I don't know.
Well,
like I think I missed my calling somewhere.
I actually, my cousin was sitting in the room when her dad passed away, and I was checking in every once in a while, but I knew when he passed away, and I kind of saw, and I was like, it looked like his parents, because I saw his mom and dad in the room. It was really weird, and I'm in New York. This happened in Jersey, but I can see them. I can see where she was sitting, and it was at the foot of the bed. And his mom and dad were definitely there, and they brought him across. So she was confused. So I got her hooked up with a really good psychic, and everything I saw was confirmed. I didn't talk to the psychic about it, whatever, but I think you like someone that you love, or loved you, or something that meant something to you, like a grandparent, a grandmother, even a best friend, or a dog or a pet, will help bring you into the next life.
I agree.
Because it's just when you have those accidents, like my friend Cisco's former husband, she needed help. He had a motorcycle accident, and he was between earth and heaven, or hell, and he had to make us. He was on the machine. I saw his son standing there holding his machine, holding his hand. And she goes, can you help me? And I'm like, okay, whatever. So there I am going in. That guy was pissed. Like, who the hell are you? And I remember his face, and he was a small guy, but he was tough. And he was a biker, like a real old school, 1%er, real deal. Who the F are you? And I'm like, you had an accident. You're in a coma. I'm explaining this to him. You have a choice to make. And he's just like, I'm going to kick your ass, whatever. Because everything around us was literally black. kind of like it was really weird. It was like Supernatural before I started watching Supernatural. When I saw a scene where the two characters they're in that little ether zone, everything's pitch black. I'm seeing exactly what he's seeing. He doesn't know where he is. Like, where am I? Where do I do? I said, you have a choice. You can go to the light, or and be judged, or you can stay here. It's going to be a tough fight. And he was pissed. So I came back out. I called her up. I said, listen, this guy is not happy. He's going to kick the crap out of me. I don't know how to calm him down. She said, just tell him Peg sent you. And I'm like, what? She goes, just tell him Peg sent you. So I said, oh, okay, but if I get my ass kicked in the ether world, come and get me. And I went back in, and he's like, he's cursing, motherfucker. He was, I've seen guys like this before in real life. So it was just like, and it was as real. And I said, whoa, I was told to tell you Peg sent me. And he had this like, son of a bitch. And he instantaneously went,
right.
And I said, I'm a friend of hers. This is where you are. He made the choice. So it was really interesting.
Did he pass away, or did he?
He passed away. He chose to pass away, and because his son actually named Jesse James, as well. He was going through things very similar to his dad, but he's a good guy, good kid. This wouldn't have put him in the right direction. So
Gotcha.
he made certain sacrifices, and what was really interesting is the whole time she didn't tell me what happened. She said he got into an accident, whatever. And all I kept hearing in my head is eat a peach, eat a peach, eat a peach. And that's the Allman Brothers, by the way. Okay, I said, just curious when it was all over. I said, I think he's going to make the choice. I think he's going to pass on, and he's going to do some work on the other side. She's like, as long as he's at peace. I'm like, I think he is. As soon as I said, you're Peg, and I'm assuming that's you because the way he reacted, she goes, yeah. I don't know her that way. But I said, the whole time I was talking to him, all I kept hearing is eat a peach, eat a peach. Now, here's the fun part. Dwayne Allman, lead guitarist for the Allman Brothers, died by driving his motorcycle into a peach truck.
Oh, wow.
And they named that album, his last album, Eat a Peach. So she goes, yeah, we used to talk about that's how he's going to go out.
Aw.
And that's all I kept hearing in my head. And I'm like, how is this a reference to this guy? I don't know who this guy is. So it's weird. Right. But you do get people, I think, that pull you out, and then
absolutely.
And then people just get stuck. Like they don't have somebody to be there and tell them to go to the light.
Yeah.
So they need you guys.
My cousin, I've talked about this before, he was more like a brother to me, and he had a stroke here, I don't know, it was 3 years ago or so, and was brought back here. And he was pissed at the world about it because he seen himself walking up some steps, and there was a doorway there, and his dad slammed the door on him. And he was mad at the world. He wanted to die.
Yeah.
And he ended up 3 years later, he committed suicide in February of this year. But the whole time he was just a whole different person. He was just madder than all get out, at the world. Because, he wanted to go. So
it's tough.
So he unalived himself, and that's where he's at. So, but I believe, honestly, I believe he's at peace now. And, I don't, like he's been here and made like jokes and stuff, like he's locked the door and stuff on me. And I've talked about that before. But, it's just things like that, I know he's in a much better place, and that he's not fighting his inner demons like he was.
He's probably going through the program, learning, and then one day he'll choose to come back and, make the filled in the blanks, the mistakes that he's supposed to do. And
I like the way you put that.
Look, she keeps rubbing my chin. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but she's laying here.
I've seen her making air biscuits.
Yes, totally. I've been loving on me.
She's just like, oh, let me touch your face.
Let me interrupt everything you're doing.
Yeah, and then Mickey put it out there in all capital letters. Toe beans.
Yeah.
Toe beans.
Toe beans.
Yes, toe beans. But
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
This is
I'm
great.
like, crazy stuff. It really is, And like I said, it definitely takes a special type of person to work with people who, are hospice or nurses or doctors.
yes,
You
it
know,
does.
it really does. And they have my true respect because it's not
They
anything
do.
that I could do. I freak out when like little things happen. So I couldn't imagine, working in an emergency room or something like that. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no
I
way.
I thank them all the time.
Yeah. My
All the
oldest
time.
daughter, she does hospice. And, when my mom passed away in 2022, she died at home and we were all there. And my daughter actually wanted to be the one to clean her up and get her ready for the funeral home. And she did. I was like, you don't have to do this. She's like, no, I want to. And she did.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Special person. Nothing I could do, man. Once my mom died, I was out of that room. I gone. I didn't want no part of it. I don't do dead bodies very well.
well, they're not. It looks like they're sleeping, most of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm It
Yes.
does.
Depends on the individual.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
when it gets to kids, because that's where it gets really heart wrenching.
hmm It does. Oh yeah. I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are at an hour and 36
We went
minutes of
over.
the show.
Time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went over.
Yeah. It's a work day tomorrow.
It is, but it is October. So we are starting, Spooktober. So, I mean, we did have to talk some spooky stuff.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had to. We had to.
Yes. And
Yes.
thank you, Brian, for coming on tonight with
Thank
us.
you for inviting me. Always a pleasure to be with you two.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I put it in our chat. Whoever wanted to come on, come on.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
Let's do it. Here's the thing. Anybody that has the chat with the name that we have, I posted a thing about, like true friends. It's that chat.
yeah, it's
Everybody in that chat.
and it's a hell of a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it is. It is. So just let everybody know we have a chat with several other people, and
Yes.
it's called Anal Leakage.
Yes.
You didn't really have to say that out loud. But my daughter saw that the other day because whatever pops up on my phone when I'm in the car, it pops up on the screen.
Leakage chat.
She said, "Really, Mom? Really?" She goes, "Did you name that?" I said, "No, I did not name it." She's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, she said, "Sounds like something you might say." I said, no, I did not know. I try to watch what I do because anything, like I said, comes across my phone, comes across the screen, and she can see it. Boom. I was like,
it's hilarious. There's
Someone me.
three of us are in it. What? Greg Ogles, Natalie,
BMR.
Paranormal
Natalie.
Paul, BMR.
Yeah.
bunch of nonsense, people. Bunch of nonsense.
It is. It is. And we share a bunch of
Some of
nonsense.
it was fun though, but yeah.
It's fun.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. We got to go to work tomorrow. Some of
Yes.
us do anyway.
Yep.
Me being one.
Mm,
I gotta
So
do some stuff.
I don't want to
for,
go.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I am going to just end the show because I'm not going to play an extra because it's too confusing until text gets it put where it's supposed to be on the ending. So anyway, until tomorrow night, guys, we will see everybody then. And yeah, take care.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.